start in a chair today. It's gentle yoga. It is Monday. Is it the Ides of March? I think it is, isn't it, the Ides of March? It's March 15th.
Yeah.
Been away for about a week, so we're ready to get back. It might be a really gentle class today, by the way.
Right.
So, sit comfortably. I don't plan to use anything special today, not strap or anything. So if you're at home, just make sure you have what you need, blankets, blocks. And then just sit comfortably. Let yourself start to close your eyes gently and easily. And see if you can just bring your awareness to feeling any areas of tension you might feel in your body. And if you need to move a little bit to release that, then do. Like if your neck feels a little stiff, or if your hands need to wiggle around a little bit, or your feet or your legs, just do that. And let yourself just be aware of how you're feeling physically. And as you start to watch and be with your breath, coming in and going out, just enjoy feeling the rhythm of your breath. Don't try to control your breath here. Just feel it coming in and going out through your nose. And if you are comfortable, to inhale into your belly and feel the belly expand a little bit when you breathe in. And if you feel all right, to come into those 3-part breaths, inhaling into the belly, into your ribs, and then all the way up into your chest. And then start to move a little bit with the breath. Let your exhalations bring you a little bit forward with a nice long back, and your inhalations bring you back up. So take your time. Moving with your own breath, so it might be a different length than anyone else's. It doesn't matter. Just let yourself start to easily come forward and back up with your breath. And then the next time you end up upright, let yourself stay there. And let's inhale our right arm straight out from our shoulder for a second there. Flex your hand. Just let yourself feel the underside of the arm there. And then just bring your arm across your chest. Let your right hand come just on the top or over the top of your left shoulder. Just let yourself release your arm down there. And then tilt your right ear towards your right shoulder. So you're tilting away from your hand, letting yourself release there through the side of the neck. And then on your next inhale, come on back up to the top and release that arm on down beside you. And let's inhale the left arm out, again, straight out from your shoulder. Flex your hand a little bit. Let yourself press gently into the heel of your hand. Feel that underside of the arm. And then just draw the arm again across the chest. If you can kind of hook your hand there over the top of your shoulder, do. And then lean the head over towards the left so that you lean away from your hand. And you can even press down a little bit with your fingers if it feels good, to try to help yourself release. Good. And on your next inhale, rise your head on back up. Let's unfold that arm on down beside us. And now both arms are going to inhale all the way out and up overhead. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. And then we'll reverse and inhale the hands right up through the midline. And on the exhale, open the arms on back out and down. And now bringing the arms forward, we'll make one big circle, coming on forward, up overhead, and let the arms reach back as much as you can and down. And then we'll reverse. So reaching back first, and then reaching up and over, and coming on down through center. Good. Shake your hands out a little bit. Stretch your legs out. If you're cross-legged, remember which leg you had in front. Stretch your legs out, kind of move through your feet and your ankles a little bit. Just wiggle around a little bit. And then we'll come on into crossing the other leg in front if you were cross-legged. Otherwise, if you're in your chair, you can just put your feet back down. So inhaling right here. Let yourself really lengthen through the spine. And on the exhale, let's twist to our left. So bringing your right hand around towards your left knee, lengthening up through the top of your head. Feel your sitting bones drawing down. And the low belly just gently drawing in, just to give you a little support there. One more inhale. And on the exhale, we'll come on back around through center and all the way into the other direction for that twist. Wake up the spine. And one more inhale. And on the exhale, releasing back around into center. Let's inhale both arms straight out from our shoulders this time. Go ahead and flex both hands again this time. And then we'll bring our left arm on top of our right and give ourselves a hug. So you can hug if you want over sort of your shoulders or down towards your armpits, whatever feels really good. Bring your chin on down towards your chest. Let yourself release there. And you can stay right here. If you feel fine to bring your gaze forward, head towards half eagle or eagle wrap, you can. So that back of the right hand can slide to the outside of your left elbow. That's a little bit different than hugging. Or you can send the backs of your hands towards each other, or come into your wrap with your right fingers onto your left palm there, and let your thumbs come towards the midline if you want that final little twist. Breathing into between the shoulder blades on your back. And then we'll release to bring our arms on down. We're going to inhale the arms straight out from the shoulders again. Flex your hands again for a breath. And then we'll bring our right arm on top of our left to hug. So again, as you kind of find where you want to hold with your hands, go ahead and start to bring your chin down towards your chest. Release there. You can always turn your head too a little bit if you want. Move your head around if that feels even more releasing. And now, totally up to you whether you want to bring your gaze on back up and forward and go towards a half eagle, back of the left hand to the outside of your right elbow, pressing gently there into each other. Or maybe you want to send the backs of your hands towards each other, or come into that full wrap if you choose. Remember, we're trying to release, not add tension into the shoulders. And then we're going to let our arms come on down beside us. And let's inhale both arms all the way out and up overhead. And now lower your right arm down. Let yourself just stretch up through the left side of the body. Your right hand can be on the floor if you're on the floor. If you're in your chair, you can let the arm hang. You can put the hand in your lap if you choose. And then we'll come on back up. We're just going to switch sides. So lower the left arm down. Right arm comes up again as you come into that side stretch. Just feel the breath coming into the right side of the body. Good. And then we'll rise on back up. Let's bring both arms up into a wide V. Turn your pinkies towards each other a little bit. So the shoulders, instead of rising up, really want to drop down. And then as you exhale, bring your hands right down to meet in front of your chest, in front of your heart. Seated mountain pose here, lengthening up through the crown of your head. And then we'll unfold our arms on down beside us. Shake out. Stretch your legs out again a little bit before we come on around to our hands and knees. So when you're ready, take your time. We'll come on and either be down on your knees or not. You know that. You can use your chair seat if you would rather have your hands up in the seat of a chair. You can put your hands down to the floor or on a blanket. Or if you need to do fists, come on to fists with your hands. So you really want to find what works for you. Don't want to be in pain here at all. So Take your time, let yourself look between your hands, and then start to just bring your gaze a little forward. Send your tailbone back and up a little bit. And then as you exhale, draw the tailbone up under you and round up into your cat pose. And then as you inhale, send your tailbone back and up again. Now, whether you want to look forward or stay looking down at your hands to a more neutral spine, that's up to you. So letting yourself flow through your spine with your own breath. And feel free to stop in cat or cow. Stay for a breath or two. You don't have to continuously move here unless it feels easier for you, better, more natural. And even if your breath decides to go the other way, right? So your inhales and exhales switch around, that's fine. Just let it feel very natural and very easy to flow through your spine. And then finish off whatever one you're in or you're heading into. And let's come back to more neutral spine here. And we're going to step our left foot forward and our right foot back and come into lunge here. So you know you're welcome to use blocks. You can use a chair. You can use the floor. That's up to you. Remember, your blocks have 3 heights. And if you need to switch the height of your blocks, do. At home, you know, you can use anything you have, right? You can use a coffee table. You can use a chair. Take your time. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. Feel that nice release for the back of the right leg. And we're going to switch and go to the other side. So however is comfortable for you to come to that right foot forward, left foot back. Feet like you're on really narrow railroad tracks. Feel that length now. Think of your whole body in the pose. So not just your legs and your hips, but your spine, your shoulders down away from your ears. Good, and we're going to switch again. So again, as you come into this lunge, feel the feet now, if you can, just very gently pressing away from each other, like you're trying to lengthen your mat with your feet. Engage your belly. And then we're going to switch again. So as you find your lunge, pressing the feet gently away from each other, feeling the belly zip up a little bit there. And from here, we're going to step forward and come into standing forward bend. Feet hips distance apart and parallel. Feel free, you know this, to use whatever support you need. So you can have yourself up higher or down lower. You can have your elbows above your knees if that works better for you to support your low back. You can have your hands or forearms on a chair. So just enjoy. Let your knees soften a little bit and feel your sitting bones right over your heels. You can be in straighter legs in your forward bend, or you can have your knees a little bent or even more bent. But just make sure you're not jamming into locking your knees. And nice, full, even breaths now. Let your inhales and exhales, if you can, feel like they're evening out, coming to closer to the same length. And then we're going to bend our knees and bring our hands up to our hips and rise on up to standing. And inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. So take your time, find your mountain pose, do whatever you need. If you need to look at your own feet or walk a little bit in place or bend your knees, take your time. Once you get to where you want to bring your hands together in front of your chest and bring your gaze forward, feel as equal as you can between your feet. If you need to sway around a little bit to find that sense of being balanced, do. And then just enjoy. Just imagine really that it's very easy to stand in your mountain pose, grounded through your feet, but like your head is floating up in the clouds. And just feel the space all around you. Imagine that space is supporting you, really. And then we'll unfold our arms on down beside us. And we'll inhale both arms all the way out and up. And on the exhale, bend our knees and come on forward back to that standing forward bend. And let your next inhale help you find a nice long back. Lengthen out through your spine. And we'll step our right foot back and come into lunge. Draw your shoulders down. Really feel the feet again, pressing gently away from each other. And let's come on into down dog. So reach your way back into downward facing dog pose from here. Elbows hug in a little bit. Let yourself find the height of your hands where you feel okay in your shoulders. Use the chair, use blocks, use the floor. Walk a little bit, bend one knee at a time. And then come on back to your full dog, and on the next inhale, we'll come out to a plank. So whether you want to come to a full plank or come to your forearms and do a forearm plank, put your knees down, do a half plank. Just find what you can here. Engage your belly. And we'll come on back into down dog from here. We'll bring the right foot forward to find lunge, and you can put your left knee down if you need to get there. Good. And then we'll step back forward into standing forward bend. Again, be really easy. Be mindful of how your back feels. If you need support, use it. Let your breaths again feel nice and easy. Feeling the ribs expand as you inhale. And then we'll bring our hands up to our hips. We'll bend our knees and rise on up. And inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. Let's unfold our arms. Bring our hands behind us. Interlace your fingers. And for a second, see if you can let your fingers be long, but your fingers are locked together there. And imagine you're trying to, really try to pull your hands apart, but don't let it happen, right? So you're really feeling up into your shoulders, like you're pulling your hands, like they're trying to unlock there, but let yourself feel that engagement. And keep pulling, and then eventually now we're just going to let go and let our arms float all the way out and up overhead. And on the exhale, we'll lower our left arm down beside us and reach over into side stretch here. Once you get there, bend your right elbow. Let your hand come wherever you can, maybe to the back of your head, maybe to the top. And then stretch your arm long again, and we're going to rise back up and switch. Left arm comes up overhead. Right arm releases down, and then again, if you can bend your elbow, it doesn't matter where your hand comes. Let yourself find what you can there. And then we'll stretch the arm back long and release and come on back down, both arms down behind you now. Let your hands clasp. This time, bend your elbows deeply and really squeeze your palms together. So again, you're feeling your biceps up into your shoulders. One more breath there. And then let the hands release. Now you're still interlaced, but you can let your palms come apart. Stand here for a breath. And now on your next exhale, bend your knees, come forward, let your back be flat and long, and come parallel to the floor if you can. So you're looking straight down, so you're not lifting your chin forward, right? You want to feel the back of your head in line with your spine. And then release your hands on down. We're going to come into standing forward bend. Again, you can put your hands on chair, blocks, elbows above the knees if you want. And then from here, let's step our left foot back and come into lunge. Press those feet away from each other. Draw your shoulders down. And we'll come on into down dog again. So as you come into your down dog, again, remember, if you're using the blocks, just be sure if they're kind of tippy that you're easy there. Heels could be on the floor. If your hands are on the floor, your heels are probably hovering off the floor. Elbows hug in. Let your next inhale bring you towards that plank. Now, if you want to do a little push-up, you're more than welcome to. Traditional push-ups, elbows come to the side. If you want to bend your elbows in towards your ribs, come into a little push-up that way, you can. And then we'll make our way back into downward facing dog pose. And this time, left leg comes forward to come into lunge. So bring yourself however you need to. You know you can put the right knee down to get there. And then we'll step back into standing forward bend. Right to your breath. Wherever you need to go, whatever support you need. And then we'll bring our hands to our hips. We're going to rise on up to standing and inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. Let's inhale the hands right up through the midline. On the exhale, open the arms like wings and come on forward. On your next inhale, find a nice long back wherever you need your hands to go to give you support. And we're going to step into down dog from here. So take your time, walk your way back into your down dog. And if you have your hands away on a surface that you can spread your fingers out to, feel your elbows hugging inward. And let your next inhale bring you towards that plank. Again, coming into plank from here. Depends on you. Put your knees down or go to forearms. If you can do a back bend of any kind, now's the time to do it. You can come through for an up dog. You can put yourself down and come to forearms to come into Sphinx or a little cobra. And then we'll come on back into downward facing dog pose. And be easy. Walk your dog a little bit. Turn your head from side to side as you walk a little bit. Let it feel really easy to release the backs of the legs. And then come on back into your full dog, and on the next inhale, we'll come out towards that plank again. Optional back bend. Stay in your plank if you want. Come into some push-ups if you choose, or come through to a back bend. And then we'll make our way back into downward facing dog pose. Good. From here, let's bring our right foot forward, come into lunge. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears. And then we'll step forward into standing forward bend. And then again, support yourself how you need. If you like holding your elbows, go for it. If it feels good to feel that whole weight that way, do. If you know you need support, use it. Nice, easy breaths. Good. And then let your knees bend. Bring your hands to your hips. We're going to rise on up to standing and inhale the arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. Find your mountain pose however you need. Move around if you need to. Let yourself be easy. And then once you're feeling very balanced, bring the gaze on forward and out, whether your eyes are open or closed. Like you're looking way out beyond the wall of the studio. So if you were in an open field, you're just looking right on out towards the horizon. And then we'll let our arms release on down, shake out a little bit, and move around. Move whatever you need to move. Walk if you need to. And bring your blocks forward if you don't already have them. We're going to turn our chair around if we have it and come into Warrior Two. So we'll step our right foot back. If you have your chair there, you can just put your hand on it. It gives you a little bit of balance support. So make sure, look at that left foot, and make sure you're not turning your toes inward, which is something that's kind of tempting sometimes. Make sure your toes are facing forward. Your knee comes out over the center of your foot. And then check out that back foot. Just make sure that you feel like it's about parallel to the back edge of the mat. And then we'll rise both arms on up and out into our Warrior Two arms. So let yourself reach out through your fingertips. And see if you can just bring your awareness. Don't turn to look back at your back arm, but really feel like that arm is reaching directly back behind you. Good. And then let's just lower our right hand down, turn our left palm up, and inhale, reach up towards the sky. Let your right hand slide down your leg a little bit back there. One more inhale. And on the exhale, we'll come into side angle. So our left hand or forearm onto our thigh, onto your chair if you want. Bringing that right arm up into line, if possible, with the right side of your body. And if your arm doesn't want to go there because of your shoulder, then adjust, right? Arm can go straight up if you need to, or it can stay down. You can keep your hand on your hip. One more breath here. And then we're going to come on back into Warrior Two. Let yourself take your time here. And then bring your right hand to your right hip. Let's straighten the left leg out. Bring your left hand down for triangle. Now it can be up way high. You can be up on your thigh. You can have your hand down lower if you want. And see if you can just feel that length through the spine here. Right arm can go straight up or not. Feel the thighs engaging upward. We're going to come on back into Warrior Two from there. Nice. And then bringing the hands down. We're going to turn our feet more parallel. We're going to come for a wide-legged forward bend. So, grab your blocks if you need them. And you can bring your hands down to any surface that feels good. And then take your time, bend your knees one at a time if it doesn't bother your knees once you get your hands down. So take time too. So when you do have one leg straight, think of the inner thigh of that straight leg. So the nice stretch that you get just from letting one leg be bent and one straight. Good, and then make your way back into center. Bend both your knees. Let your elbows come to be right above your knees if you can. And you can just touch the tips of your fingers and the tips of your thumbs together. Let yourself just really lengthen back through your tailbone here. And then you can decide, coming into this pose, to stay for a few breaths. Do you want to bring yourself hands between your feet and fold forward, or do you know you need to keep that long back? So you can have elbows above the knees, which keeps your spine long, or you can use your blocks there in front of you. You can always stack them up, put your forearms on them, and let yourself be long that way. So just be mindful. Accept your breaths in and out. See if you can let your face go. If you find some tightness there, just if you need to wiggle your mouth around a little bit or anything at all that helps you release, let yourself do that. Let your jaw go. Good. One more full deep breath. And then take your time. We'll let ourselves rise up. You know you can bring your feet closer together first if you need to. And rising up when you can, make sure you walk around a little bit, move through your feet and your ankles before we come to the other side. So again, you can have your chair. You can have, for sure, both blocks if you need them. We'll step the right foot forward this time and the left foot back. And think about drawing a line from your heel, your back heel, to your front heel. That kind of a straight line is about how you want your feet. It's not exact, but kind of gives you a little more openness in your hips if you do that. And then feel your feet on the floor again. Check your alignment of your front foot and knee. And then we'll rise the arms on up and out, bringing our gaze out over the top of that right hand. Now just picture your body here in this pose. I mean, feel your entire body, all the way out to the tips of your fingers. Feeling the length in the back of your neck and your throat. And we'll turn our right palm up. We're going to inhale, reach up towards the sky. Let your left hand just give you a little support back there. And on your exhale, we'll come into side angle. So right hand or forearm onto your thigh. And again, this top arm, really up to you, whether you want to bring that left arm up into line, maybe keep the hand on your hip. You can bring the arm straight up if you'd rather. Just be mindful. Let yourself enjoy feeling that length through the spine. And we're going to come on back into Warrior Two. Good. And now left hand will come to our left hip. We're going to straighten the right leg out. And triangle pose, right hand can be really up high as you lean out over that right leg. You know, you can go lower if you want. You can use a block for your hand in front of or behind that right foot there. Or you can use, if you want, a chair. Top arm, optional to reach up through the arm, straight up from your shoulder, or keep the hand down. The eyes engaging upward. Good. One more breath. And then we're going to bend the right knee. We're going to come on back into Warrior Two, pressing those feet away from each other. And now let your hands come down and turn your feet again, more parallel. And again, grab your blocks if you want them. Come on forward. Keep your spine long if you need. And you can bend a knee at a time again if it feels better for you, just to adjust. And then come on back into center and let's walk our hands over towards the right. You can shift your block instead if you want. Just shift a little bit, or you can walk towards your foot. If you can bring your right hand on up to your right hip, do. You can even roll that shoulder up if you want. And then we'll come on back down with that hand. We're going to walk back through center. Again, as you walk towards the left, you can always just shift your block a little bit. You can walk towards your foot if you choose. Again, if you can bring your left hand up, do. And then if you want to roll that shoulder up, a little bit of a twist there, that's up to you. And then we'll come on back down with the hand. We're going to walk back into center. And then again, take your time. You set up the way you need to be comfortable in this pose. You know, blocks can be used for the head or for your forearms. Or you can walk your hands back more towards between your feet if you want. Or even hold your own ankles. Okay, just really with your own breath here. Just watching the breath all the way in and all the way out. So easily accepting your inhales and your exhales. Good. And now before you rise up, you can always adjust your feet if you need to before you do. And then coming on up to standing and bringing those feet on together. Move around a little bit if you need to. Walk through your feet and your ankles do. I'm going to leave my chair this way. Have your blocks back handy forward. And then we're going to step towards the front of our mat. And we're going to step our right foot back and come into Warrior One so that we're facing the short edge of our mat here with our shoulders square. And then this back foot is turned out. Remember, maybe 20 or 30 degrees, depending on you, right? Where the foot can be grounded and you feel okay to feel this openness in the front of your right hip. And then from here, bring your arms on forward and keep your palms facing each other, but try not to do this. Try not to reach forward and round in the upper back. Instead, kind of plug your upper arm bones back into your sockets there, and then rise the arms on up. Now they can widen out. They can stay forward. You be where you're able to be, where you can feel that easy lift in the front of the body. Feet very equal in the mat. Nice. One more breath here. And then let the arms come on down beside you, and then bend your elbows. Bring your hands together in front of your chest. And now come forward with the upper body to where you make a long line down the back of your body. There's this long diagonal line. So it's not really deep, depending, of course, on how long your stance is. But let yourself just enjoy. One more breath. And then we're going to bring our hands down and find lunge. So once you get your hands down, adjusting into your lunge, that back heel now reaching directly behind your right foot. And we'll add a twist. Left hand to the left hip and rolling that left shoulder up. If you can put your hand on your low back there, do. You can stretch the arm up if you choose to, if your shoulder likes to do that, or keep your hand down. And then we'll go ahead and bring our hand on back down to lunge, and we'll step forward and get our feet right underneath us. bend our knees and rise on up to standing. And inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down. And just enjoy your mountain pose here for a breath. If you need to shift around a little bit, adjust, do. Feel your hips coming over your ankles, shoulders over your hips. And then again, just accept your breaths in and out. And then we'll let our arms unfold on down beside us. Good. Move through a little if you need before we do the other side. We're going to step the left foot back this time for Warrior One. So again, how far you step back with that left foot. Whether you let yourself step 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet. If you're more comfortable to widen your stance a little bit, do. So that you feel really stable in your Warrior One. It's fine to be this short of a stance, right? You just want to feel like the core of the body, the belly, the low back, and the hips are really engaging here. Feel the openness in the front of your left hip. And let's release our arms on down beside us and rise them forward with your breath straight out forward from your shoulders at first. Let your palms face each other. And on your next inhale, keep the arms flowing upward. Now, it doesn't matter how far up or how far forward they stay or wide they stay. Feel that sense of now the feet equal in the floor. Good. One more breath. And then we'll lower our arms on down. Bring the hands to your chest here. And now, we're going to come forward with that long diagonal line again, remember. It's not a very big move, right? You're keeping that length through the back of the body. It'll really work this front quad a little deeper. One more breath. And now as you bring your hands down for lunge, you just adjust your stance here. So, you may decide you want more of a lunge longer, or you may want less. And then when you're ready, bringing the right hand to your right hip, rolling that shoulder up. And again, keep your hand down if you want. Stretch the arm up if you choose. You come where you're able to be. Let it feel good to lengthen out through the top of your head. And really reach back through that inner left heel. And then we'll come on down with that right hand. And we're going to step forward. Come on into your standing forward bend. Enjoy wherever you want to go. If you want to hold your elbows, do. If you feel like putting your hands somewhere else on your back, or maybe even putting your hands clasped at the back of your head. Just release. Nice, easy breaths. And then let your hands come on back to your hips. We'll bend our knees and rise on up to standing. And inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. So again, let your mountain pose just be really balanced, but really easy. So if you feel the least bit of that doesn't feel quite right, just adjust until it feels like it's like you could stand here for hours, right? You just feel so balanced. You feel the body evening out, really, because your body wants to find alignment. And then we'll go ahead and release our arms on down beside us. Shake out a little bit, move around if you need to. Good. We're going to leave our mats how they are since it took us so long to get it this way. And walk to where you can put a fingertip on a wall somewhere, where you feel like you're not too close to anybody else. So you just need a fingertip. You can touch it if you want. You can use a shelf. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah, because we're just going to put our left hand on the wall, and we're going to come into a little tree pose. Okay, so bringing your right foot in. It can come into the inside of your calf. You can keep your toes on the floor and the ball of the foot on the floor. Put your heel into your inner ankle there if you want. Or you can bring your foot up below your knee or up higher if you choose. You know that. If you prefer to bring your foot up above your knee, you just don't want to press onto the inside of your knee in tree pose. And just play a little bit. Like let your hand come off the wall if you can. You can Bring your hands anywhere it feels comfortable. Sometimes rising the arms up overhead is helpful in tree pose, but not always. So, do what feels good to you. Let yourself keep your hand on the wall if you need to. Imagine that uplift in the front of your body. Good. One more breath here. And then lower your arms down. Turn to face the wall. Put both hands on the wall for a second. And then get to where you can bend your left knee and flex your foot. And you can think about drawing your left heel towards the buttocks there. So you feel your quad. Now, if you can reach back with your left hand and get hold of the top of your foot, do. You can press the foot into the hand. Let yourself feel your quad engaging there. And some of you might even want to bend your right elbow and come forward towards the wall a little bit. Let your knee come back behind you. That's up to you. You can stay directly upright with the knee facing down. You don't have to hold the foot either. Just make sure you're not locking that knee you're standing on either. And then come on back down. We're going to turn around and have our right hand on the wall. So as you stand on your right foot, the left foot comes in for tree. So it's that outer leg that comes in, and you can decide if you want to bring it up higher, if you want to keep the foot lower. Take your time, play how you want. If it's a day where you need to have the wall there with your hand staying on the wall, do it. So take your time, and it's amazing how different every day can be, isn't it? So maybe we could just be okay with where we are right now and let yourself just enjoy feeling what you can in your balance there. Good. And then we're going to bring that right foot down. Turn to face the wall. And from here, right foot comes behind you. Again, as you flex the foot, you may not want to reach back. You may just want to bend the knee, flex the foot, feel the knee pointing down of that right leg, or you might want to reach back and get your foot. If you're pressing the foot into your hand, you can decide whether you want to stay with the knee facing down or send your knee back a little bit and let your chest come towards the wall a little bit. Good. And then we'll come on back down, bring your foot down, walk back into a dog with your hands up the wall. Now for some of us, that might mean staying up a little bit higher with our torso. Let your hands be a little towards the outside of your shoulders on the wall. Hug your elbows in towards each other. Now you can come all the way 90-degree angle at your hips if you want to. But you can also stay up higher. So you be where you can. But feel your feet right under your hips, even if you're up higher with your torso. You don't want your feet back behind your hips. You want to feel the feet right underneath you. Good, beautiful. And then if you can, as you hug your elbows towards each other, imagine you're trying to widen your feet more apart. So you're pressing your feet away from each other. Pretty intense up into the hips. Good. One more breath. And then let yourself release. Walk on back towards the wall. Good. Shake out a little bit. And let's come back down to our mats. Let's come on back onto our bellies on the floor on our mat. So come on down and take your time. Make a little pillow with your hands. Maybe you haven't been on the floor much for a while, so enjoy the floor. I have to guarantee you it's even better than a bed. So let yourself breathe into your low back. And then come on your forearms into a little Sphinx Pose with your elbows underneath your shoulders. Turn your palms down towards the ground. And now be really mindful of your neck here. So, if it feels like you're lifting your chin up and shortening the back of your neck, let it be long so that you feel like instead of tensing up in the back of your neck, it feels really easy. And just enjoy don't press hard into the tops of the feet, but be aware of feeling the tops of your feet into the ground. And feel the belly gently engaging. Good. And then we're going to release down, and we'll stretch our arms towards the front corners of our mat if you can, if your shoulders let you do that. You can be wider if you need to. Good. And then from here, on your next inhale, let your head, your right arm, and your left leg lift up a little bit. And then as you exhale, let those all come back down. And then we'll go to the other side. Inhale, your head, your left arm, your right leg. So opposite arms and legs. And then come back down. And we'll go back again to the first side. Inhaling, right arm, left leg. And releasing back down. And then left arm and right leg, inhaling up. And then exhaling, come back down. Good. And now bring your arms down alongside your body. Turn your palms down towards the ground. Let your hands be on the floor instead of your mat. And then when you inhale, float everything up that you can, coming into that locust pose. Reaching fingertips and toes back towards the wall behind you. And then release and come on back down. And bring your forearms back to the mat again. Come into clasping your hands this time. Send your pinky fingers out. Now, whether you lift up with bent knees to a half forearm plank, or maybe you want to come into putting your feet down, lifting your knees up into a full, find your forearm plank here. Feel your elbows hugging towards each other. Good. And then release back down into Sphinx Pose for a breath. And then you can decide from here, would you rather come back to your half or your full forearm plank, or would you like to bring your knees up and in and come up into a little bit of a dolphin pose? This is totally unnecessary to do a dolphin. Only if you know your shoulders feel better doing this. You're more than welcome to stay in a plank or just stay and breathe in your Sphinx if you'd rather. Good. And then we're going to release and come on back down. And let's make our way back towards pose of a child. So you know, everybody's hips and knees are different. And if your knees don't like you shifting your hips back towards your heels, you can kind of stay up over your knees with your hips and just release your way onto your forearms. And this coming back all the way is just up to you and your hips and your knees, whether you want to shift your hips back. Remember, just be mindful. Feel the breath coming into the low back. You know, if you're more comfortable to bring your arms back alongside your legs, you can. You can put your hands under your head like a pillow, if that's better too. Good. One more breath. And then take your time. Bring your hands back by your knees. We're going to come on up. And we're going to come around to sitting. So sitting on the floor is not always the best thing for some of us without support. So if you need support, put a blanket or a block underneath you or both, right? To where we're actually going to bring our feet in to a little Badakanasana, bringing the soles of the feet towards each other. Now, if you know, putting your feet together like this and bringing your feet in causes you to round more in your back, try bringing your feet out farther and then lengthening up through your spine. And use blocks underneath your legs here if you feel like you're tensing up in your hips, right? So if you're built as such, it has nothing to do with except how your hips are built. to where your knees are up higher. Sometimes it feels better to support them, right? So you just have to go with what feels good to you. Let yourself find that length upward if you can through the top of your head. Let your shoulders release down. And then just enjoy feeling the breath here. Imagine when you inhale that you start your breath at the base of your spine, and then you just travel up your spine as you inhale, so that you find like all this space in your spine, but keep that space when you exhale as well. And now if you can come forward a little bit, let yourself release a little bit forward, which usually just brings a little more into your inner thighs, right? Don't force it. It doesn't mean you have to do it. Maybe you're better off just to stay upright, or sometimes just imagining you're coming forward is fine. And if you're built to where it feels really good to go deeper forward, then by all means do. Whatever feels like it releases your hips the best, and you don't feel any discomfort in your back. That long spine should keep you from feeling any kind of discomfort in your back. It's a stretch, but good. So we're going to slowly come on back up. And now bring your hands behind you if you can. Now you can come all the way flat on your palms if you want, or you can stay up on your fingertips. But just imagine that your chest is coming forward, right? There's a string that's attached and it's coming on a diagonal line, kind of really just forward and up. And you can draw your shoulders back a little bit and feel that openness across the front of the chest. Good. One more breath. And then we're going to come back up. And now from here, see if you can stretch your right leg out long. And it doesn't have to be way far to the side. It can be kind of forward. If you need to add a block, if you don't have one and you need one, do it, because we're going to come a little bit forward here. So the leg can be forward. You're trying to feel your heel on the ground, drawing it, but you don't want it directly forward. It's out at a little bit of an angle, maybe even a lot of an angle. You know, that depends on your hips too. And then as you come forward, feel this inner thigh of this long leg. So once you come forward, it doesn't take long to feel where you need to be to get it, all right? So you can adjust where you have the leg out to the side, but just enjoy and coming into that inner leg, but also, of course, you're feeling it in your back and your hips, right? So you go where you can. Let it feel really good. Like you're coming forward from your low back, but then you can release your head, let it hang if that feels good. And then we're going to slowly come back up. Now stay here. We're going to twist out of this position here. So inhaling here, and as you exhale, twist towards your left. So your right hand might come all the way to your left knee there, or it might stay more like at your foot. It really depends on how your legs are positioned. Just let yourself enjoy. Feel that twist. How far back you look behind yourself is totally up to you. You can look more to the side, or maybe it feels good, an opening to turn to look back. And then slowly unwind back into center. We'll bring that right foot on back in, and now we're going to stretch the left leg out long. So again, you got to kind of figure out where can this foot be, where you're okay for this knee, this bent knee. And also how far out to the side you want your left leg. Toes and knee facing up, heel drawing down. And then again, this easing your way a little bit forward. I mean, it might be an inch. And if you don't feel your inner thigh, try repositioning. I know it's intense, isn't it? It doesn't seem like it should be that intense. But if you can just let yourself come where you can, and then just breathe. Good. So keep breathing. Let yourself just, sometimes if you stay a little bit longer, your body kind of gives up a little bit. It allows you to maybe come a little bit more forward, or it just feels a little bit better. And now we're going to slowly come on back up, and we're going to add that twist, remember. Inhale at the top. And on the exhale, twist to your right so your left hand can come around wherever it wants to go. And just let your right fingertips give you a little support back there. Again, how far back you want to look or to the side you want to look is up to you. And your neck. Good. So one more breath here. And imagine your belly is bringing you back around into the front. And then we'll stretch our legs both out in front of us. Shake out just a little bit. Do some little flip-flop windshield wiper blades, however you want to do them. And we are going to lie down on our backs on the floor. So come on down and let yourself, as you come down, bring your right knee on into your chest and stretch your left leg down long on the floor. So flex through both your feet. Doesn't matter whether you're holding the back of your right thigh or you're below your knee there. Just press the leg gently into your hands. Good. And then let your right foot come to the floor there. The knee is bent. And stretch your left arm overhead. All right? Now you can just rest the back of your hand on the floor for a second. Now, this is kind of hard on the sticky mat, but we are going to try to reach our right hand down and get our right ankle. So you're curving your body. You're coming into a side stretch here. So now the arm can follow you closer to your head, or depending if your shoulder needs for your arm to stay up more just straight up, you can. So this is up to you. You kind of play around a little bit. You're holding onto your ankle, so you're already coming into a side stretch. How deep you go is up to you. So if you need to shift on that sticky mat with your shoulders a little more to the side, do. Let yourself just breathe. You can always roll your head if you want to let your right ear come towards your shoulder or towards the floor a little bit. Don't have to. And then we're going to come back into center. Now it takes some finagling to get yourself back into center. Bring your left knee in, stretch your right leg long, and then bring the knee in towards your chest again at first. So you either hold behind your thigh or below your knee. Feel the feet flexing and feel that left leg coming into your hands. Good. And then bring the left foot down to the floor. And we're going to reach down with our left hand to get that ankle. So again, that means an adjustment, right? You've got to kind of adjust to be able to try to reach down. Right arm is up overhead now. And then you can decide where you want that right arm to go. So letting yourself just come into as much of a side stretch or a side bend, really. You know, you can curve more and reach over more if you want, or less. Feel how it opens the front ribs. The right ribs get this great ease. You can breathe into wherever you need it, right? Into your side waist a little more, into the rib cage. If you like to roll your ear down towards the floor, that left ear, you can. Good. And then we'll come on back into center again. You got to finagle your way back. Let both knees now come on in towards your chest. And you separate your knees a little bit, roll a little side to side if your back likes that. Good. And then bring your feet on down to the floor. Bring your arms down alongside you. And if you don't want to do a bridge pose, don't do it. If you're okay to bend your elbows to 90 degrees, Let your palms face each other and press into the backs of your arms. Floating up if you want. If you decide you'd rather do a supported bridge pose, by all means, grab your block, let yourself come down onto a block. Feel the thighs in your bridge pose. If you're up there, whether you're in support or not, see if you can lift your heels up. It might feel a little bit more in your quads that way. You can put them down anytime you want. Keep pressing into the backs of your upper arms there. And then when we're ready to come down, come on down slowly there and let your knees come on into your chest again. Send your feet up for a little happy baby. Now, that doesn't mean you have to reach up and get your feet. You can always even support like the outside of your legs a little bit and just let the feet separate a little and let the back release that way. Or if you want to reach for your ankles or your feet, you can. And you can roll a little bit side to side if it helps your back to release. Good. And then we'll bring our feet down to the floor again. Let's bring our right knee into our chest again. And then from here, as you lengthen your left leg long, let's bring our arms out beside us into a T position and come across the body a little bit with that right knee for a twist. Now, for some of us, that might mean just barely coming over. And for some of you, you may want to go way over with that foot coming down even to the floor. That's totally up to you, just letting yourself release there. If stretching the right leg long feels really good, you can extend into a longer leg. If not, don't do it, right? Good. One more breath. And then bring that knee on back into the chest. And we're going to switch legs. So let the left leg come in, right leg come long. Flex through both your feet, stretch your arms out into that T position again. And we're going to bring the right leg across to the right, left leg across to the right. So again, once you bring the leg across the midline, how far you go is up to you. Whether you stretch the leg long, totally up to you. Good. One more breath. And then as we come on back into center, go ahead and let your knees come back in towards your chest and kind of play around a little bit. You know, do you want to bring yourself into soles of the feet together? Does another happy baby pose sound good? Or maybe, you know, something else. If you want to come into a wide angle here on your back, if you want to put your feet down, let your knees come side to side. Just play a little bit. Before we get ready for Shavasana, you want to let yourself really just be able to release when we do get ready. I'm going to get some lights here. So don't get up if you need anything. You know, I'll bring it here at the studio. If you're home, if you need blankets or really anything else that you might need in order to be more comfortable, let yourself, as you start to stretch out, let yourself just feel how you feel, kind of like we did at the beginning of class. So feel if you have tension somewhere in your body. I'll start to get bolsters here once I get the blocks, but at home, if you need something under your knees, by all means, rolled up blankets, if you don't have bolster. time.
Miss Kaye, I'll appreciate blanket today.
Kind of hard after a week, isn't it?
No, it's wonderful.
Good.
No, it was wonderful. I'm gonna grab a
Okay.
blanket.
Whole body.
Yeah. Yeah. Into a cocoon here. Thank you.
Chilly what you're stopping.
Yeah.
What you're
That's
adjusting.
good. Thank you. It's good.
So take your time. Just let yourself release into your breath here now. Accepting your breaths in and out. So, nothing you need to do in order to breathe. Just letting yourself feel almost that sensation of melting down into the ground. And just let yourself be with your breath. Keep coming back to your breath. It gets easier and easier to refocus onto your breath. Giving your body and your mind time to benefit from all you just did. Just by letting yourself completely and fully relax. ground underneath you, supporting you again. And just gradually letting your breaths get longer, deeper, not forcing, just really still accepting those breaths. But once your awareness comes back, you kind of naturally want to breathe in and out deeper, and maybe start to move a little bit, fingers and toes, hands and feet. And taking your time to come back to moving the way you need, whether you need to stretch when you're ready or bring your knees up and in. Really just take your time to come back into moving naturally, the way that feels good to you. And you know you can roll onto either your right or your left side if you're comfortable to come into a soft fetal position. It can be an easier way to adjust for some people. That is totally up to you. And of course, when you do feel ready to rise up, let it feel easy to get comfortable how you're sitting. You know, grab what you need. If you need to sit up on a blanket or a bolster, do. Letting yourself start to lengthen up through the top of your head. And then just be with your breath again. Once you're seated comfortably with your head up above your heart, just let your energy levels start to rise up again. And on your next exhale, bring your hands gently to meet there in front of your chest, in front of your own heart. And wishing each one of you a very joyful day. Namaste.